Welcome to the Dave Palma Show, the podcast that revives, restores, and awakens your innermost capabilities.
You have the training and the talent to succeed, but do you have the guts to fail?
I love what I do. When you love what you do, you want to be the best at it.
Today is about the power of you. You will change the world.
Find your path to success through the journey of those who have succeeded. And now, your host, Dave Palma.
Hi, welcome back to the Dave Palma Show. And in this show, or in this episode, I should say, I have an award-winning interior designer who left the corporate world behind to find her true self through design and internal reflection. Her firm, JerMar Designs, works with executives and entrepreneurs focusing on projects that combine sophistication and balance with their inner and outer wellness. Winner of the 2022 Luxe Magazine Red Awards, she was also recently nominated as a HGTV Designer of the Year. She chronicles her journey and the approach that changed her life and work in her memoir, 2 Feet In, Lessons from an All-In Life. Jeanne Collins, welcome to the Dave Palma Show.
Thank you so much for having me.
Delighted to have you, Jeanne. And I'm not sure if you've probably done a research or looked at my website. I've actually updated my website, actually. But I do have a book that, using my own analogy as a firefighter, I do a similar thing, but I haven't won awards like you or anything like that. Well, only like long service medals and internal stuff. But yeah, I'm very, very impressed with what you've done. Very curious to find about how you turned your life around with what, you know, the analogy you're using as well, and how you're projecting it for other people now to use the same skills, and then to talk about your book as well. And talking about your book, just wondering, it's called 2 Feet In. What's the meaning behind 2 Feet In first?
Yeah, 2 Feet In came to me while I was writing the book, because I realized I was writing about the stories of life and the lessons that I've learned. I seem to, over time, have an approach to how I deal with challenges and problems that not everybody has. And so when I was making decisions, especially starting more in my 30s, I was realizing that I would make a decision and I would be all in, and I would not let myself get stuck in mindset of doubt and not trusting myself. And so I would go all in. I would make a decision and I would go all in. So, for example, when I left corporate America and decided I was going to start my design business, I, went all in. I bought the URL. I started a website. I went back to school to get a degree, and I just plowed full steam ahead with, okay, I've been a sales executive for years, 22 of them, and now I'm going to become an interior designer. And I just went all in.
What were you selling before? Sorry, I don't like interrupting.
Yeah, so I spent 22 years in corporate America working for a public company in advertising sales.
Okay. Public company, right? Okay.
Yes, which comes with a lot of stress and pressure when you are reporting quarterly to Wall Street.
Corporate America,
exactly.
Corporate America is enough to say about that,
It's a different lifestyle than what I lead now.
Yeah, 22 years is a long time in doing all that as well. So you must have probably done that. I mean, looking how young you look, you must have done that since you was a spring chicken just popping out of high school, probably.
I did it when I was pretty young. Yeah. I mean, not that, I started when I was in my late 20s doing that. So, okay. And I lost that job. The higher you get in the ladder, the more risk you take on of losing your job, and everyone who's in that executive position knows the higher you get, the closer you are to getting fired when numbers don't come in. And so when I lost it, I was about to turn 50. And that was really, that's, oh, wow, I'm about to be 50. And how am I 50? That was the age of my parents. And I was about to become 50. I was like, how is that even possible?
Yeah. That's when I retired, actually, just
right.
around there.
Well, but then that's also when you realize, wow, I don't feel old. And so I could work for another 20 years. And I really decided I needed to figure out what I loved to do. If I was going to do this for another 20 years, I just had a 22-year career and was very successful. And that was great. And all of a sudden, 22 years went by. And I thought, well, if I have to do something else for 20 years, I need to start loving it because I can't do what I was doing before for 20 years. And so that made the mindset about it just a little bit different. And I just thought, wow, okay, I really need to figure out what I like. And so I spent a lot of time journaling and writing and reading and going through the process of who do I want to be, when I grow up is kind of what it was. What do I want to do next? This is such a pivotal time, turning 50. And what do I want my life to be like? And how do I want to work? And really journaling about what do I want my day to look like? I wanted time to be able to work out at lunch if I wanted to. And I wanted enough time to go on vacation. And I wanted to be able to see my daughter more. And you start to write about what you want your life to be like and what makes you happy. And then all of a sudden, before you know it, if you do it right, you find different things that you're passionate about that you didn't know you were. And then your brain starts to go like, oh, wow, well, why couldn't I become an interior designer? There's no reason why I couldn't. And so, off you go. And that's the 2 feet in approach that I have to things. It's sort of off you go.
Yeah. Wow. Well, I mean, it doesn't take a long to, I mean, I kind of studied a degree 15 years into my firefighting career as well. So it's kind of like merging a bit of academia in with my technical knowledge, but it didn't take much to do it the other way around, did it really? Where you went to study a degree after the 22 years, yeah? In graphic design,
I did, in interior design, because I knew I was pretty good at what I did because it was my hobby. But I didn't have the technical skills. And I thought, interior designers are very competitive around here. We have lots of them where I live. Yeah. And I thought I needed some of the technical skills that I didn't have. And so I actually, started going back to school and COVID happened. And so it all became online. And I was like, okay, my full-time job is to go to school.
Yeah, and it worked out all right then.
Yeah, I was like, that's my full-time job is to commit to this. And I naively thought the first program I entered, I thought, oh, this is going to be so easy. I'll be done with this in 2 months. No problem. Because you could do it at your own pace. And it was the hardest program. It took me about 10 months. And, it's awakening because you realize this stuff is hard. They're not kidding. Like, this is school. And I hadn't been in school since I got my master's in my 30s. It's been a long time.
Long time. Yeah. I think I've been back to school probably in my mid-30s, just roughly just over mid-30s, 36-ish. But yeah, it is a bit of a shock to the system even so, isn't it, really? So anyway, since you're not a celebrity, how do you go? I might learn a thing or two as well from this, but obviously I'm doing mine through the route of how I do mine, but we can compare notes at least. How are you marketing your book to ensure you reach your intended audience? And who is your intended audience?
Oh, that's a good question. It's a good question. So, my intended audience, when I first started writing my book, I thought, I'm going to write for women who are in their 50s. And as I started writing my book, I realized that I have lessons that I've learned through my life and my experiences that I could share from back when I was in high school. And I've had men of all ages read my book and women of all ages read my book. And the feedback I've gotten has been really positive because people can relate to different segments of my life. And so everyone that I've spoken to sees a portion of themselves in my story somewhere. And whether it's a certain time in my life or, I've been divorced twice, I've changed careers, I've, had to buy homes, I was raised by divorced parents. I wasn't told by my parents that they loved me until I was in my 30s. I talk about emotional connection a lot. My journey to wellness. I got very sick during my corporate career. So people can relate to that. So my target audience is really anyone who wants to be inspired and wants to reflect back on their lives and think, how can I make small changes in my current life to make myself feel like I'm living my best life? Because we really are only here once, as cliche as that sounds. So in terms of how am I marketing my book, it's doing things like this. It's lots of talking to lots of people. It's podcasts, it's radio interviews, it's writing interviews, it's doing speaking, it's just even locally with people to just talk about my story and get their feedback and see how I can help them. Because that's why I wrote the book.
There'll be free speaking gigs like that, or mixture,
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And it's just trying to, I've started to create a YouTube channel. That was an interesting experience.
Well, I'm trying to get they're now putting podcasts on YouTube Music since yesterday. They launched it in the UK. It's been in the US for a while. So now I'm probably the same as these pop and whatever music on YouTube Music. I'm just about to get known on there now.
Fun in some ways, and that's sort of one of the things that I inspire people about. You have to constantly be learning.
Yeah,
and when you're learning, it's interesting. And so finding something that you're passionate about and learning about it. And just because I had no idea how to, make a YouTube video and didn't even do it right the first time because I didn't film it correctly. But I'm learning, and that's great. And it's about taking risks. And just because you don't know how to do something, that doesn't mean you can't figure it out or you can't find someone to help you. You just have to ask, technology, there are resources out there to help us with everything.
Yeah. No, you're right. Absolutely. Yeah. So you say you worked in corporate America first. So what have you learned from corporate America to help you start your own business?
So I think the most important thing that I learned from corporate America is that I actually had more skills in a variety of things than I thought I did. And so I think we get pigeoned into our jobs and our job title, which is I do this. I'm in sales. I run a sales team. Yeah. But the reality is that a lot of the skills I have marketing skills I didn't know I had. I have presentation skills, Excel skills, budgeting skills, just people and communication skills. And all of a sudden, those communication skills translated into, wow, I started a blog. Wow, I wrote a book. Who would have thought? I never would have thought. So I think you learn more. I think we're our worst enemies. We tend to put ourselves into this path that this is all I do and this is what I know. But the reality is we have experience and we know more than we think we do. And we also have, corporate America taught me, like, if you don't know something, you ask. And you have a team of people. And if you're going to build a good team and be a good manager, you surround yourself with people that have skills that are not your strengths, that aren't the things that you're really good at. And that's how you become a good manager and build a good team. And so I learned that very early on in my management career. And so when I started my business, I very quickly hired a business coach.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah.
Learned quickly that bookkeeping is not my thing. I hired a bookkeeper. I hired someone to help me with various things.
You get software for that now, can't you, these days?
Right. You just learn that you can ask. And I think corporate America taught me that in order to create a good team and become a good manager, you need to surround yourself with people that have skills that you don't. And that doesn't make you a bad leader or a bad manager or a bad business person. Yeah,
no, it doesn't at all. Well, if you was to go back to your younger self, what would be some advice? If you could tell you some advice, what would it be?
Oh, definitely take more risk in life.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Well, because what I've found by reflecting back on my life and the risks that I have taken, especially since I started to be in my 30s, 40s, and 50s, was that it always works out. And if you're doing things for the right reason and you're passionate about what you do and you follow your gut and you don't let yourself doubt everything, that it works out. And so I wish when I was younger, I had been more willing to take risk, where I got just a little bit too stuck in my head when I was younger and wasn't as willing to take the risks and do some of the experiences that I wish I had. And I also now have a huge appreciation, and this is after leaving corporate America, for experiences in life. And so I really, now that I've changed careers and have changed the way I live with life first and work second. It's not work-life balance. It's life-work balance.
Yeah, your life does come first. Yeah,
life comes first, and experience.
Health. Without your health, what have you got?
Of course, you have nothing. You have nothing, right? And so you have to make yourself a priority. Mm-hmm. You have to make your body a priority. You have to eat well. You have to exercise. You have to really work on your mind. You can create anything you want. If you have the right mindset, you can absolutely manifest anything that you want. And so I think for my younger self, I would have told my younger self to don't take it so seriously and take a few more risks. have a few more experiences, travel a little bit more, and just be a little more open than I was. I felt like I needed to be on a set path. And I think that prevented me from saying yes to certain things.
Yeah. So, I mean, in your book, 2 Feet In, obviously it's really, it's an analogy based on your own journey from your younger self with what you're explaining. Could you tell us a little bit more about your journey then? Without going too much into what the book says, obviously, because you want people to go and buy the book, but just give us maybe a synopsis of that journey, what you experienced, the obstacles up to today.
Sure. So, I mean, my book goes all the way back to the beginning, right? To how I was raised. And so the analogies in my book are that you can look at anything in life and have it be very similar to building a house. And so you have foundations, you have framing, you have finish work, and you have design. And that's how we design and build a house. And I looked at my life journey that same way for the book, and it's broken into sections based on that. So my foundations were how I was raised. You know, I have, my parents were divorced when I was 8 years old, and my father lived 2 hours away from me. And, you know, I talk about being raised, and I was raised well. My mother raised us well. However, we didn't have any emotional connection in life. And my mother, I mentioned this before, my parents didn't tell me that they loved me until I was in my 30s.
Yeah.
And it was just very different the way I was raised. And we were raised in a very affluent town and didn't have a lot of money. So that creates lots of self-doubt. And so my book talks a lot about how I was raised and the impact that had on me as a person that I didn't realize until much later in life, that I didn't have self-confidence and that I didn't trust myself and I didn't feel I was worthy or deserved things.
Right.
That's the foundation of it. And then I go through my career path and how I found corporate America, and why and how I got there. Career path, I was married, got divorced, and then got married again when I was about 35 and got pregnant, had my daughter, and was separated when my daughter was born. So my daughter's now 17. So I talk about, you know, being a single mom and a working executive and how you balance that in life and the lessons I learned, some of the mistakes I made that hopefully people can learn from my mistakes, because I gave my life to my job. And then I lost that job when I turned 50. And then I started my own career.
For granted as well, really,
right,
I suppose.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then, so it goes through lots of things in life. I talk about everything from different romances to health, wellness, exercise, mindset, the roles that all of that has played, parenting, and also how I've kind of overcome the self-doubt that I had when I was younger, and have come to peace and come to terms with all of that, which makes it an interesting story. So, and there are characters interwoven through my story. So it has a little bit of a novel sense to it. There's a little bit of romance in a novel way throughout my book, which makes it a little bit interesting, I'm told.
Why not? Why not?
You know, and then there are chapters.
As long as it's not too X-rated.
Right. No, it's not at all, but it just makes it interesting. It makes you be like, I want to see what happens next.
Yeah.
And then I also talk about wellness and interior design and things that I do for my clients to help them in their own homes. You know, things like the importance of a place to meditate or read or just downtime. How do you give yourself downtime in your home?
Sleep hygiene and stuff like that.
Right.
You need to,
you know, what do you see when you first wake up in the morning? The importance of that.
Awareness
right. And your sensory experiences when you first wake up.
Exactly, yeah.
What do you see? What do you see when you open your eyes? Is it a pile of laundry? If so, that is not a great way to start your day.
If you've seen a lot of nature, that's nice, isn't it?
Right. If you see that or a piece of artwork that has meaning to you, it can inspire your morning. What do your feet touch when you get out of bed? What's the floor like? What's the rug like? You know, so there's a lot in there. You know, towards the end, there's things in there about that, which people have said is really helpful because to me, this is what I do every day with my clients, but this isn't what everybody does every day. So they leave with tips and things that make them think about their own environments and wellness within their own environments, which is helpful.
Sounds like a really great combination you've got there, and you've really worked it well. And obviously your book and the company's all based around what you've just spoken about. Tell us a little bit more about your company before we go as well.
Sure. So JerMar Designs is a luxury interior design firm in Connecticut, right outside of New York City. And I specialize in full home designs for my clients, I tend to cater towards, busy executives or creative entrepreneurs. So people who really value how their home feels and they want to invest in their home, and they feel that how that environment functions and how that environment makes them feel is really important, and they're willing to invest in that. COVID has made it so people are still really investing in their environments because we're still home a lot. People have found the value of slowing down a little bit, I've found.
It's nice if you can wake up in your pajamas and start doing some work rather than
it really
the
is.
rat race and commuting.
And people are still doing that. The train station here, the parking at the train station is still empty. It's been years. It's still empty. You couldn't get a parking spot at all, and it's still empty. People aren't commuting to New York as much. So,
you live near New York. That's okay.
I live near New York. So I am so fortunate because I now get to.
Are you near Manhattan? Are you? Or?
We are. Yeah, I'm about an hour outside of Manhattan.
Yeah, I mean, I know Manhattan reasonably well, but only like the boroughs. So, Brooklyn, which is obviously, you've got Spike Lee living there now, and Donald Trump. I don't want to go into your politics, but he lived there. And I spent a lot of time in Manhattan anyway, so I know the streets. Probably not for a while yet, but I know there's probably a few developments since. So, but so you're about an hour away. If it's north, it's Albany towards that way, is it, or is it?
It's east actually.
Oh, right, okay.
A little bit east.
Past the Flushing Meadows.
Correct. So it's east. It's into Connecticut. So it's on the water.
Connecticut towards New England. Then so that's nice. It's all looking like actually UK, England over here. So it gets leafy and green, doesn't it? So
it does.
Weather's similar as well.
Correct. Right now, all the leaves are changing colors. And
they're autumn. You call it fall. We call it autumn. But anyway, let's not.
Autumn's just a more civilized.
Bit of fun for the audience.
You guys have a much more civilized way.
We say tomato, you say tomato.
I love the way you all speak. It's fabulous.
Well,
it's much more elegant.
Well, I mean, my mum's side of the family is from the Caribbean, so they speak a little bit slightly different. But obviously, I've born here in the UK, so I've got relatives that are born from Caribbean, but born in New York, actually in Brooklyn.
Oh wow!
But they've got a New York accent,
Right.
So it's like that. It's like that. And my dad's side's from a French-speaking island just off the east coast of Africa near Madagascar. You've heard the film Madagascar?
Yeah,
it's a tiny, an even smaller island just off there. So that's quite nice. Yeah. So
did he speak French? Did he teach you French?
Yeah, because it's kind of broken French, so he would understand French. It is more influenced by French language, but the official language is English. And so I think, like the Americans are intrigued by the English accent. I think over here they're intrigued by French accents and things like that because it's closer to Europe, isn't it? Really,
of course. Yes, it is. Yes. But London's great. I went to London for the first time in June, and it was.
Really? Oh, okay.
London's fabulous. It really is. It's such a great city.
Yeah, I'm living just outside there these days. But it doesn't take long to get. It's about the same as you. It's about 1 hour or just under 1 hour away. So that's normal in America, isn't it? Really.
I liked the people. There. I felt like they were really nice.
Yeah.
A little slower pace than New York. Not quite as aggressive.
A little bit slower, unless you go right in the middle of London where the business area is, or the West End, as so we call it, which is like Broadway.
Yes, we went there. Yep. Experienced that. It was great.
That would be more like West Greenwich and East Greenwich around that way. Yeah.
Yes.
Because
it was
Broadway, because we got Theatreland, which is your equivalent, really. So, anyway, let's not give. We've been talking about something completely different. Let's end the show by asking you, what is the first thing you hope a reader would take away from the story before we go and end the show?
I really want people to think about how they can be more confident in themselves and how they can make themselves a priority in their life. Right, and whether that be with wellness or their career or their parenting, how do they make sure that they are a priority? Yeah. And I think through my stories, they can see how I've been able to grow into making myself more of a priority, and my decisions that I make right now align much more with that. And I put life first and work second. And when you do that, you find that you really are living life so much more. And I thought I was happy before, but I didn't realize that I wasn't at peace before. And now the way I live my life, I'm happy, but I also have incredible inner peace and incredible calm. And if I could share that with anyone and help them feel what it's like to feel like that, I think that is just such a gift. And so if someone could find that in themselves by making a slight tweak, I would feel like I really, I was able to give back. And that's such a gift.
It's absolutely beautiful to hear. I mean, that's fantastic. Your journey just really, really impresses me, and I'm sure my audience would have loved it's liking what you're hearing right now. Actually, that's the word. I've got my tongue twisted there. So, is it Jeanne or Janine or Jeanne?
It's Jeanne.
Okay,
it's Jeanne. I have a funky, I have a funky French. It's a
Jeanne
French
name.
way. Yeah. Thanks, Mom.
Right. Okay.
Thanks, Mom. No one can pronounce it, because we have to make it different. So it's actually Jeanne. It's the French way of spelling it, and they don't pronounce it Jeanne either. But I respond to anything. Honestly, you could even call me Mom, and I would probably turn around.
Okay, Mom. No, just joking. All right, Jeanne. Well, Jeanne, it has actually been excellent hearing your story and how it evolved, and the work you're doing now is fantastic. So, as I say, similar to mine, but mine energy is obviously from my firefighting career, because that was really what I professionally did and got out of that. And well, when I got out, I retired anyway, near 50, like yourself, and then doing all this work, which is similar to what you're doing anyway. So, and
you're helping people, which is so great. You're giving back. It's amazing. Congratulations.
Exactly. Well, thanks a lot, Jeanne, for coming and sharing this with my audience today.
Thank you, Dave, for having me. It's been a pleasure.
That's all for this episode. Thanks for listening. And remember, if you want to support what we do, then share, subscribe, and leave a review over on Apple Podcasts. Or head over to my website, davepalmer.com, and click on Rate Show. Well, that's all for now, but I'll see you in the next episode of The Dave Palmer Show.
Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.